like to welcome everyone. I call this meeting to order at 5:32 p.m. We'll start with roll call beginning tomorrow.
Sutherland here.
Ewert here.
Thompson here.
Brown here.
Hollowell here.
Let the record reflect that a quorum is present. If you would all please rise for the invocation.
Invocation or pledge?
Yeah.
Invocation.
Which one
Let's go invocation first.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Debbie Lyons. I'm the pastor at First United Methodist Church. Thank you for inviting me to come and pray with you all tonight. I looked at the agenda. I see the kids here, and I know what's on everyone's mind. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this time that we can gather tonight and honor the work that you're doing here for your people in Winnsboro. It is fitting, isn't it, Lord, that the items on the agenda tonight are baseball and food trucks. And isn't that just a wonderful way to begin the summer? Oh God, I ask your blessings on those that serve their time and their energy on this Economic Development Council. And what a blessing it is to know that we have money in this city to do such amazing things. Things to encourage entrepreneurs and business owners to be creative, to create jobs, to provide for families, and to serve others in this community who come from outside our city. We are blessed, O Lord, for this time together, and I ask you to pour out your guidance and wisdom on those decision makers here tonight. In the name of your Son, Jesus, we give thanks. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Consent items, 5.1. Last
We have
month's.
to do public comments first.
Oh, you're right. Public
Sorry.
comments first. You were correct. Cindy. At this time, we'll move into the public comment section of the meeting and hear from those who have signed in before this meeting was called to order.
We have
We
any?
have
We have two.
two. We have Trevor King, who wants to speak about. Six, okay. 6.1, we're actually gonna do 6.1 last, but you're gonna go, Trevor, you go first, and 6.1 goes second. You can go now.
I'm Trevor King, 808 South Main Street. I just wanted to come to the meeting. 6.6, the action on procedure to fill an unexpired term of Andrea Newsom. I know as a newly elected city council member, recumbent city council member, I just wanted to show my interest, show up here, let y'all know that I'm interested in serving this position. I do a lot around the community. I'm involved. I go to a lot of the restaurants, a lot of the activities, involved in a lot of different things throughout town, and feel like I have a pretty good grasp of where our community is going, where funds are sometimes needed, and kind of have a good understanding of what some of the students want, being a teacher and seeing some of the trends that we see in our community as well. And just wanted to come and let y'all know that I'm interested in serving that position.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Trevor.
All right, we have, can't read the first name. How about Polishik?
yes.
Yes, thank you for having me, and I'm sorry I didn't have my glasses when I signed
That's okay.
my name, so I had to write something. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to request, I put on the agenda to review the approval for the bathrooms, and I think Mackenzie is well aware of the plans. We worked with her of all the plans and submissions and prepare. And then we came to the meeting for that approval and was asked if it was compliant, but was asked if it was ADA compliant. I didn't know. You know, I know what the disability, you know, things are, but we didn't understand that was, you know, at the last minute put the condition to be a ADA compliant, and that was not according to the plans. An ADA compliant bathroom costs like 3 times more. Wagon Junction does not have the funds for that. You know, and everything was according to the plan submission for the compliant, but not with the ADA requirements, which the ADA requirements have across the street, you know, on the depot. And so I'd like to request to make a motion to remove that condition of the ADA. That was my first request.
This is just public comment time, so we
Yeah,
can't
we're not
rule
doing
on
Right.
what you're asking.
Okay.
We're just listening.
The other thing I have here was to be considered. I know had the revisions of permits and fees with the city, which I'm not against, you know, because I understand that was a long time hasn't been reviewed and didn't cover all the costs. Understand that. And my request is, as we are building Wagon Junction, you know, I'd like to request permits and waive of fees for a year or two. And the reason why, I don't know if Brent sent you the pictures. I don't, you know, if you see the pictures a year ago, what was that location, was an eyesore for the city. You know, was really very, I would say, I cannot say abandoned, but, you know, people refer that, oh, what a change, you know. And I don't know how many years Wagon Junction will take to recoup the investment. And now, since we opened 7 months ago, we saw at least 4 businesses opening or improving the surroundings, you know, in the model to be on the standards. If you see next door, there is the Terry plants, you know, and that is before didn't have a business there. Next to was the rallies. Did I say correctly? The food truck. They moved to the side and improved the whole thing, and then had the Honors Coffee that came to that location as well. In addition to the 4 food trucks that we have in the location, you know, in some people think food truck is cheap. It's like at least $50,000 to build one, you know, and sometimes can cost more than a physical location in a restaurant. So it has a lot of investment on that lot. You know, right now, if you count the food trucks, we are surpassing the $350,000 in investments in labor. So I'd like to request, you know, my plan was to request like a 3-year waiver of fees for that location, Wagon Junction, Cajun Box, and the possible food trucks that we will bring to spend the day or the weekend to provide an additional option to Winnsboro and gather the feedback from the community to see which one they like the most and try to bring them to the city. So I was looking at and the food trucks and the business around, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but I believe just that block, the revenue in tax that you are going to collect, it's way higher than was a year before. You know, in my mind, I don't know everybody's number, I can only say, you know, but we are definitely on the thousands of dollars in revenue for the city, you know, with those just on that improvements on that block, especially at the Wagon Junction.
You've got about 15 seconds left.
Okay. And then one of the things, last but not least, but it's not, I'm going to bring for our next meeting, just want to make a point, is we are planning very exciting events for the city, and we'll bring to the EDC and to the city to probably, possibly team up to expand to other business as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now, let's go to the consent items. We're gonna start on our consent items on 6.3 today. 6.3,
We need to vote on the.
Yeah, I think.
oh, the
Second
previous
one.
ones, yeah, you're right, sorry. I'm off my game, I apologize. Our consent items 5.1, we need to vote on.
I move we approve the consent items.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5.1 passes. Now, let's go to 6.3. Action on incentive application from Winnsboro Baseball and Softball Association. They are. Okay, so 6.3 is from the Winnsboro Baseball and Softball Association at Lions Park. They are requesting updating concession stand and bathrooms, including windows, paint, doors, closures, toilets, sinks, lighting, electrical, etc. We've gotten, let's see what else they got. We actually have, I know we have these proposals, but we don't have anything else. So they're proposing they get about 400 visitors per week, 300 on a tournament weekend. Something after many a tournament weekend, it is busy. 3-day tournaments, they're calling 900 people. It's pretty good. Who wants to speak about WBSA? Anybody? Joe?
My name's Joe Grimes, president of WBSA. I've been part of the association for almost 15 years. We have struggled very much so with keeping the lights working, just from old age. Even when all the light bulbs are replaced, they're so antiquated that it's hard for fly balls, especially on the biggest field. It's about 290-foot fence for the outfielders to see it. Pop flies that go up, they get lost in the dark. Bathrooms are in shambles. We've had some toilets and sinks replaced, and we've had them destroyed, and we've had them replaced again. The lighting, even around the bathrooms, inside the concession stand, we've got wire nuts that are hanging out that, where we've done a lot of patching, and we've got help from others throughout the community. We just really hope that y'all look at this and consider, opening day. It's one day a weekend, but we have over 1,000 people there between ball players, parents, grandparents. The new centralized park area is an awesome adage right there, but it still needs a little bit more, especially with the gutter and the drainage system. There's trip hazards and things like that. Piggybacking off of the ADA stuff, we probably need some more concrete to help people get into the bathrooms just in case, or to get to, we've got a pathway to one ball field, but that's it. This up here speaking to y'all is not my cup of tea. I'd rather be on the ball field or in the concession stand making y'all some nachos. I do invite each one of y'all to come down on a night when it's hopefully not that hot or it's not raining and check it out for yourself. Be a part of it.
It looks like all the bids are just on the building itself, is that right?
There's two separate pieces.
The lights.
By the electric.
The lights are over here, and
Right.
the bids over there.
That's it. But there isn't anything about concrete and things like
Where was
that,
the building?
right?
Right, it's stuff that just pops up as people yell at me. So,
Well, so this is kind of a phase one of many phases.
yes.
And does the association have funds to contribute, or are you looking for somebody to fund the whole thing?
We have some funds, but when I took over, like I said, a long time ago, we were in the red. Slowly, we turned it back into the black, and right now, for the last probably 8 or 9 years, we run on average in our bank account about 30,000. Nothing more, nothing less. We try to keep it there. If you go down and look, obviously the community's helped us a lot, but we've built new batting cages. We've built a new red building. We tore down a red building that was a safety hazard. And we've personally, myself and other volunteers have put in time and money out of our own pockets just to make upgrades. I mean, we have a work day a couple of times a year so that we can do that type of stuff. So we have some money, but whatever we delve out, you know, we don't have a whole lot coming back in. The only revenue that we have coming in is from the concession stand, which we buy everything that pumps out of there, we have to buy to put in there. So financially, no, we don't have very much. But if we was a multi-million-dollar complex, it might be a little different, but
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody else with any other questions? So I need to announce that, on the additional part of this, which is the binding portion, I had my company provide an estimate to make sure the other estimates were in line. So I am withdrawing my company estimate, but we'll still show it, we'll still have it, okay? Just officially, I'm not gonna do the work.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
so you're not actually bidding.
I'm not actually gonna do it.
Okay.
We'll leave the proposal in place, but I
So-
will not do it.
Let me ask this question. Do we actually need to bid on who is awarded, or can we just bid on what amount we're willing to fund, and they can,
So they can select.
Reimbursable amount not to exceed.
that way, gotcha.
Okay, so we have, basically, so the association is looking for, what's 6,900 plus
Well, they're all over the board, that's why I was,
8,000, what is it, 14,900, basically 15,000. Right.
you know, if you took both high bids, you'd be about $20,000.
No, I took both low bids.
Okay, I didn't.
When's the last time the city contributed to repairs?
Well, didn't we just do stuff in lines? You
Yeah,
were
I
just
know.
talking about,
Lions Park was $300,000, City's Park was $150,000, school contributed $20,000. And we also just engaged in a contract with the clients, and so we're going to paint everything that's red, repaint it red. We're gonna get new toppers for the picnic tables that are weatherproof, and replacing the doors. We're gonna cover the cost for the doors for the, I think it's
switched it, I did add the two.
Okay.
Two different ones, yeah.
Okay, so, any other questions for Joe?
No.
All right.
Y'all come down there, I'll make you some nachos.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Personally, I mean, I would like to see them contribute a little to the improvement.
At risk of jumping on my soapbox, how is this economic development?
Well, they do bring in a lot of,
Visitors and
Visitors.
traffic.
actually with tournaments. Right. So I can tell you that I've been in other cities, similar ballparks, and ours are shambles compared to theirs. Not that they have new, modern, beautiful things, I'm just saying that they've done a better job of taking care of us.
And parks are considered a quality of life for economic development, and it absolutely falls within the realm of what XPD seems to do. And to bring in 900 people for one 3-day tournament, I think is the economic value there also.
We kind of talked about that when we did pickleball and tennis and whatever, that when people come here to play, then they visit the businesses and buy things and eat here.
It's just a typical travel through region.
But we don't have any idea of what the return on the investment is when we're doing something like that.
No, it's kind of a future gamble, same as we did on pickleball courts, or same as we did helping out little restaurants or whatever, same kind of thing. I can tell you, I think if we had nicer ballparks, we would have more tournament revenue. And the tournaments are, I see those things draw thousands of people, it just depends. A weekend, a good 3-day tournament will bring in 20. It's kind of a safe bet, investment in my opinion. Just from being involved in it.
Sorry?
So that's just from being around it for so long. All right, so now to the funding board.
Make a motion to approve 15,000, which is the low end, and then if they choose someone that's higher end, they'll have to pay the difference.
And and excuse me, before we finish on this, the $15,000 would cover the 2 low bids,
Yes.
correct?
Well, we really gotta make 2 motions.
Yeah.
We gotta make a, what's the,
No, we only have to make one motion if all we're doing is providing funding.
we
Period.
got 2 action items.
I mean, if you're going to make it 15,000 or 6.3, not address 6.4, then you can do that.
Oh,
But
well,
if you want money for each one specifically, then you have to make 2 separate motions.
So we need to do a motion for
The second one is 6.
7,000 for
That's correct.
or can I combine them? No?
6.3 and 8,000 for 6.4,
Okay. Yeah, okay.
just to keep it straight.
Can I make a motion we approve 7,000 for 6.3 and 8,000 for 6.4?
Yeah, we'll do 6.3 first.
And is that going to be, they pay up front and reimbursed up to 7?
Get a second on 6.3.
I'll second.
Got our first, have our second. Is there any more discussion needed on
To
6.3?
be clear, we're voting for 6.3
Three only, right?
and the amount of money,
7,000.
7,000.
And that's for the lights, the 7,000.
No,
No,
that's for,
No.
this is
that's for
the
the
buildings.
restroom, the
This is for
concession.
everything but the lights.
Yeah.
6.3 is for the lights.
6.4 is for the lights.
Yeah, that's what we have.
We're voting on
6.3 is first. So we have a motion for 6.3, funding.
I make the motion that we fund $7,000 for
8,000.
8,000, I mean, for the replacement of the lights at the ballpark fields.
I'll second that.
Any other questions on 6.4?
With all due respect, why wouldn't we vote for $7,988.30? I'm not trying to,
It's 12.
I understand,
Those
but
matter,
that's not the point. The point is that we're in a hard way, we're encouraging them to take the low bid, is what I'm saying by saying that.
Well, we're giving them the option to be 6.4 passes. Okay.
So we did 6.3 and 6.4.
We did 6.3, 6.4. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so let's do 6.5. Action on agreement with the law enforcement partners for a police department calendar fundraiser.
First of all, I'd like to say good evening. So my name is Sam Mayer. I'm the new police chief here in Winnsboro. It's nice to meet all of you. Basically, I will tell you up front that tonight what I'm asking for is from the EDC is not something that has to have action taken tonight. We have time, but we did want to bring this to you. We have brought it before the city council. I think it's a great opportunity. I have gotten with Mackenzie. She has had a chance to look at this as well. Basically, what we're wanting to do is Law Enforcement Partners is a company who wants to come in and they are going to sell ads on a calendar, this magnetic calendar. Basically, in one respect why we're here is just to make you aware of this, is that we will be able to put our pictures of our local law enforcement officers on here. They are going to sell ads, and then after this, they will, each sponsorship will get somewhere up to about 50 calendars themselves. They will then also bring about 50 calendars here to the PD that we will be able to give out. We'll be able to put any pertinent information on there. Basically, all we have to do is provide them with a letter letting them know that the city of Winnsboro supports this, and so that they can send that to any potential sponsor, knowing that this is not some type of fraud or anything like that. They have the closest company or the closest agency that they've done it this with is Kaufman PD. I did reach out to them. It seemed to go well. They'll also, along with that, they'll also provide us with 150 of these customized coloring books that we'll be able to give out during like Red Ribbon Week and the community policing. They'll actually individualize it to our PD, putting some short information in the front of it about our PD and what's going on here locally. One reason why they do this, they even will make some characters of our officers. This is to try to help the kids know who we are, things like that. Along with that, they're going to give us 150 customized stickers that we'll be able to pass out. I will tell you our goal is, and again, this doesn't, but our goal is that we're going to purchase more, and that we can purchase more of the stickers and more of the coloring books. And on top of that, as long as we designate it, some of the items that they will cut us a check depending on how many sponsors they get and everything. And we just have to designate some of the items some of the general topic, I guess you could say, and our topic that we've talked about is that we're going to use that money for community policing. We're going to use that to go back in, one, to buy some more coloring books, one, to buy some stickers, things that we can pass out. Our hope is to do National Night Out this year in Winnsboro. So we want items to be able to give out to that. Our goal, if possible, would be possibly that the EDC is able to help out and maybe help some of the local businesses. So we're not asking, as the PD, we're not asking for really anything. What we're doing is we're letting you know that we're going to do this, and we're asking that maybe if you find it available, that maybe we can do some type of situation where we can help out some of the local businesses and get them some sponsorship on the calendar.
So how much are the sponsorships?
They range in different, starting at 150 all the way up to 750 for the largest ad.
And how much does the PD get?
That all depends on a percentage. It's a percentage based on how many ads they sell, and from what I understand, it's right at about 15% of each ad sold.
And the ads can they put on?
I believe they said they can put up to, it all depends on the size, on the different ones sold and everything, but if they had, believe she said with this one here, and they have one, that they have three of the largest ones, and then all the rest of them are small. It's gonna range right at about 20 sponsors, 20 to 25 sponsors. So, again, this is not something we need you to decide on tonight. We just wanted to make you aware of it and, see where we could go with this. Our goal would be that we could have this done. If they were going to do this calendar, it would be for a 2026 calendar. Now, on our side, as far as the PD, as soon as we give them the go-ahead and that we're gonna do this and everything, they'll go ahead and get our stickers made, they'll go ahead and get our coloring books made, and they'll go ahead and get those sent out to us. And our goal is to hopefully have those by the beginning of the school year, because we'll do National Night Out, I believe it's the second week of October. So, that's our goal, is to have those items, and then the calendars themselves would not be ready until right at the end of 2025. So then they would be given out. Do y'all have any questions? Yes, sir.
Oh, based on that, what's the total amount of money for that page? It's
I'll be honest with you, I do not know that answer. I apologize.
You said there were 150 and how much you said the bigger was?
The bigger ones run all the way up to 750, the biggest one. So,
Sam and I were talking about this, we thought it would be interesting, as an option, so whoever, did a sponsorship, whether they were the 150 or the 750, that they could be entered into a drawing that we could do live here with EDC, and anyone who participated in one of the sponsorship, EDC would draw to it or even reimburse the sponsorship, just as an incentive for them to advertise their business, and EDC could use advertising funds as part of that, so it wouldn't come out of the incentive fund item.
how many of the 750s was on there?
right now they have, right now on this one here, they have, one of the 750, and then they have two of the 500. And then they have 12, 12 of the small ones.
150.
Yes, sir.
Chief, those are, congratulations on your
Thank you.
appointment. The smaller ads, there could be more 750 than the $150 ads, they just take up more space.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll pass this around.
I think that will help a little bit. Yeah, I get it, okay, okay. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and when do you anticipate coming back to a formal action from the board? Within 30 days?
Yes.
Timeline?
About
So
30
next
days.
meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably. I would say that's probably a different amount.
Yep, those little ones.
I just had to see it, and once I saw it, okay,
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm kind of a visual person.
Did you catch that, Carl?
yeah, I'm good, I saw it.
Yeah. It just doesn't seem like it generates a lot of revenue, but I guess it's the other stuff you're
So
getting.
Kaufman PD, they said they got a check for about, I believe they said they got a check for about it was either $1,700 or $1,800.
Yeah, not.
No, we're not talking about anything outlandish, but
Yeah.
again, they're giving it to us, and all they're asking is, for instance, some departments use it for like their K-9, some departments use it for the Shop with a Cop, which we do as a countywide in December. Some agencies do it for drug awareness prevention. So just real quick to highlight, so you get free full color 9x12 inch magnetic calendar, highlights the department at the very top, strong advertising opportunity for sponsors, great for the name, facial recognition, and then 150 free personalized and customized coloring books and 150 free badge stickers. That would be what all would be included in that.
Okay.
Okay?
I just calculated roughly on this, that it's a total of $3,550, and then 15% of that would be $532. Okay.
So again, we're not talking about a whole lot. Again, it's more about
Awareness.
Yes, it's more about awareness, and as a goal, that's something that's near and dear to me. Is just getting out there in the community and letting our community see our officers and being out there.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Is there any more questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
I think you got a sticker.
Okay. 6:05, we really don't have to do anything, 'cause it's coming back.
Yep.
procedure to fill unexpired term of Andrea Newsom.
So we have a new mayor, and so we need to fill the remainder of that person's unexpired term and then give them the opportunity to fill the additional two-year, two additional terms. This is what Councilmember King is asking to be considered for. When we did this last time, there was a lot of recommendation on who should be appointed, and so what myself and Dan at the time and Andrea at the time decided to do was to try to remove some of the bias in who we appoint and approach the appointments from more of a, kind of like we do engineer tour, we identify some categories of people that we thought would be beneficial to serve, how long have you been in the city, do you own a business in the city, things that are relevant to the service on an EDC board. We allow those people to apply, we gave them a copy of what does it mean to serve a board member, what does your time commitment mean, so that they understood coming into it what their service was gonna mean, the minimum number of meetings that they needed to attend. They submitted an application for consideration along with a resume, and then they were all interviewed and scored. And then based on how those scores came out at the end, a recommendation was made to council on who should be seated. So my question to you all is, do you want to continue to use that process moving forward to fill vacancies? Do you want to make recommendations at your leisure? Do you want that recommendation to come down from city council? So for tonight, all I really need from you all is guidance on what direction you would like to go moving forward for vacancies, to fill vacancies.
Because, I'm not making a motion, I'm just discussing. The non-city council members, I get the process and I like the process and I think it's good for the people that we're appointing off city council. I'm not sure that it's as applicable. I mean, we're already on city council. We only have so many that we're considering, right? Jim's already on here. So we have,
Currently, the bylaws say we have to have how many?
At least two.
and it doesn't have to be a mayor.
That's correct. There's also been situations, another reason that we did that, there've been situations where we had to fill 2 seats and 4 people applied. It's quite uncomfortable when all 4 people show up and give the resume and the board has to make a recommendation. I mean, we can certainly do that, but that was another reason
No, I like
that we
that
went a
idea.
different direction.
Has anybody else expressed interest besides Trevor?
Stephen Borman is interested.
Not to me.
Okay.
It's up to me.
So Stephen, okay. Well, then I guess we go through the process, like, are we only appointing one position? Andrea's? Then I would say let's go through the, well, now that I need to make a motion, then we
Well,
go through the process.
I would think if it's a city council seat,
But you have more than one person asking,
well, that's true.
so then we can go through the process we all went through this.
Are we confident that the scoring process reflects the values that we want to see in the people?
I am, since I went through it, but.
Yeah.
um,
I was one of the
think
4
we're
that was
well-
standing up here in the beauty contest. And I don't know why they picked me, but they did.
We all went through quite a extensive interview and scoring process. I think it's less important because we're talking about 2 city council members, but still, how are we gonna choose between the 2? That might be a good way for us to be objective about who we pick to fill a vacant spot.
I agree with that.
Assuming I need to make a motion for that.
Yep, go for it.
I recommend that to fill Andrea's vacant position, that we, utilize the same scoring process that we did for the other new EDC members.
Well,
That's the name.
We can make a motion to that effect. I'd like to vote for it if I was confident that that scoring process was actually a level play.
We need a second and then we can have a discussion.
Yeah,
I'll second. Have a first or second. now we
so
have
sorry
discussion.
about that.
That's okay.
Do you wanna see the?
Yeah, I would be interested in seeing the scoring criteria because it could just be off. And it resulted in 3 great candidates with you guys. I'm happy for that, but I don't know. I wasn't part of it, haven't seen it. It wasn't,
Do you need to see it before we vote?
do, I would like to. I would like to see that.
I think it's gonna push your appointment to CPA. And you're not gonna have a full board for CPA. Unless you have a full meeting.
Still,
You can outvote me.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
6.6 will go the direction of the proposal. Okay,
Kevin Worley, I'm sorry.
we're dropping into 6.7.
Got it, thank you.
All right, 6.7, action to rescind the motion adopted at the April 9th, 25 meeting to amend the bylaws to state not more than 2 directors nor less than 1 shall be members of the city council class. So what we really need here is we need to remove this from our from what we voted on last time. And then let's have a workshop in the near future to establish what are we gonna establish?
Historically, the bylaws have been treated as the articles of incorporation. The bylaws should be the day-to-day functions of EDC. They should control things like your incentive guidelines, maybe an appointment process. But your articles of incorporation or the equivalent of the city council's ordinances, it's the laws and rules that the Secretary of State has said, yes, that's good, I approve that, it's filed. Historically, those things have been, articles of incorporation have been changed by bylaws, and that's not really the way that it should be. And right now, they're in conflict with one another. So our bylaws tell us to do one thing, but the articles of incorporation tell us to do another. We really need to sit down with both documents and clean them up before we really move forward with filing anything with the Secretary of State.
We can do that in a workshop.
Yes, sir.
All right, so,
This is what we just approved at the last meeting.
the last meeting.
I'm happy to make a motion that we rescind that, the prior adoption.
Second.
Jim
I
second.
have a first, I have a second. Any other discussion needed? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, 6.7 works. 6.8, along the same lines. Action to consider alternative amendments to the Articles of Incorporation and/or bylaws for a statement of change to the Secretary of State. It's the same, we'll roll into we'll adopt this, correct?
I would like to recommend that you all consider a motion to postpone action on this item pending a workshop, and then you guys go ahead and give me what workshop date you want. It's much easier to schedule those things in all year together.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I like
A
that.
motion to postpone until whatever date you all decide on for that workshop.
Workshop.
And I would probably ask that you give me a couple of weeks to go through both documents and provide a summary of the changes that need to be considered.
So we'll try to do the workshop before our next scheduled EDC.
Yes,
board meeting,
I would think so.
but closer to it.
Yes, correct.
Anybody wanna make
We
that
need to
motion?
make a motion
To postpone.
postpone action on
Action
this.
6.8.
I so move that we postpone.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, you have to.
What do we have to set a date?
You have to, if you're gonna
Until-
postpone, you have to postpone it, so you have to set the date if you're gonna postpone.
Okay.
So our next meeting's on the
Well,
24th, right?
We'll just postpone it to the next meeting.
No, if
6.8.
you wanna have, unless you wanna have the workshop at the next meeting.
Before the meeting.
Right,
Well, we could do it before the meeting.
you can, if that's what you guys wanna do, if you wanna have, if you wanna postpone until the next regular meeting and have it at 4.
Do we have any idea what the, how weighty the agenda is gonna be for the next meeting? Yeah,
So
well,
far, it's not, it just depends on what comes in between now and then, as far as incentive applications.
Could everybody be here at say 4 o'clock before the next meeting?
yes, yeah, it's not a problem.
Yeah,
It's easier on me to do that.
yeah.
And you'll send us a reminder on that?
Yes.
So that'll be the
So
24th
June
then.
24th,
Yes.
so postpone until June 24th at 4 p.m.
For a workshop, June 24th.
Yes, sir.
Dr. All, you wanna redo your,
Yes, I move that, hang on, let me just add this.
Somebody send me a calendar invite.
It's not 4 o'clock paid.
No, please not.
All right.
I'm not a morning person, I don't want to do that.
Not that kind of a morning person. I recommend, regarding Article 6.8, that we postpone to the next EDC meeting, pending a workshop at 4 PM, that we reconsider alternative amendments and incorporation bylaw changes at that workshop.
June 24th, I believe it was.
Yeah. That's what I wrote down,
June 24th, 4 p.m.
at 4 PM.
I'll second. We got a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
No, that's great.
6.8. All right. Now, we are gonna roll back up to 6.1. I'm not sure how to do this, but
I would, just offer, that was not a last minute addition, the, ADA requirement. That was right before the EDC granted any funds. That was part of our grant. It said, as long as you make it ADA compliant after. That was from the get-go.
we actually even discussed with him.
That was not a last minute add, that was not, that was right from the get-go.
I think what she's saying is originally, when they started conversations with me, they did not agree to it, but you're absolutely right.
Well, when they came to the EDC and EDC awarded money, that was one of the requirements.
That was a condition.
Yes.
It was a
that
condition.
a
We even discussed how and
Yeah.
to get to that point.
Yeah.
If I remember right. So,
So I'm,
So that's on item
this is just
6.2,
discussion,
right?
yes.
But we should be on
We're on
6.1.
one.
they kind of tie together, but okay, 6.1.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I
no,
jumped to the wrong
Well,
one.
I'm looking, trying to get, actually, 6.1 is request for review for payment number 2 for $2,000.
Technically, they wouldn't be eligible for if the ADA requirement isn't met.
Met.
So that's why the request for the amendment to create a grant.
Just for clarification on that, so it was, we had the plans and everything submitted, and budget was not an ADA. That's where, what Brent was working with McKinsey, and in the meeting when was it was asked if was, I was here in the meeting, it was asked if was an ADA compliant. And that's where the confusion was, because Brent answered yes, but he didn't catch the ADA. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know it's compliant, but that was the confusion, and that the budget requested would not be $2,000 if was the requirement, because it cost way more, and also requires more space, as well.
Well, in that meeting, there was a clear-cut requirement that we expected the restrooms to be ADA compliant at some point in the near future. I'm sure that's how we put it. As far as I'm concerned, we still have the same requirement.
We also asked for financials, and I don't think we've gotten quarterly financials either.
Funding was
Well,
conditional on quarterly funding.
yeah, no, that's something I can tell Brent to submit. But, yes, he was working with McKinsey on the plans, and, he submitted everything to you, right?
The plan is submitted to the city for the specific use permit, the city council, but what they're saying is in order for you to receive the EDC incentive, they added additional conditions. So that would be separate from the specific use permit that the city issued.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it was a clear-cut requirement for us to continue
but whenever the request was submitted, it was not counted, to be that, the cost to the, not cover, would cover probably just the shipping, the
Is
configuration.
the requirement we put on there to get the funding, so without it, then?
There's no
would it-
funding.
So, and that's why we are requesting to reconsider and remove that requirement, considering that all the business around don't have an ADA bathroom. They just don't, because across the street there is one.
The businesses that are in existence are not required because they're grandfathered until they make improvements, then they have to comply. You are a brand new business, so you would have to comply with that.
I understand that what you were saying is when we
And-
requested
And
for,
think about where you are, okay? Do you expect a person who needs an ADA bathroom to cross the highway to get to the depot?
so, yes, the reason I'm saying that is because, we are working with the state, to have that front improved and try to get,
They can't do it, you're too close to the other lights. We already know that TxDOT's not gonna make any changes to that intersection.
They've refused everything.
We tried already.
We've
well,
already
That's
asked
just, that's not gonna
citywide.
happen.
We've already
But
asked
that's
just
all,
for
that's a whole
other.
different issue.
Yeah,
Back up.
that's
Let's
right.
go back to, we said up front that we needed the restrooms to be immediate. That was in the agreement. We all agreed to it. Now we're trying to change the agreement.
well, I'm asking to remove that condition, and the reason why, we are requesting that, is because we had a lot of investment on that location, and it is generating, lots of revenues that the city didn't have for that block.
Don't have any indication of what revenue is being.
Well, I think, I don't have access to what each business is paying as tax, but I,
Claiming that, and you're supposed to provide financials on how
There's
the
two
Wagon
requirements.
Junction is doing.
Not
Yes.
being,
Mhm.
they're both on your side. One is ADA compliant restroom, and the other is you're supposed to totally financials.
yeah, and apologies that Brent is not here, he had an accident with his back and he's, unable to, he's walking, but he's barely walking, so he was like, I cannot do today. And that's why, I know he was the one working with Mackenzie on all of the, but I really, wanna ask the city to reconsider that because, we are planning to do more investments, but, money is super tight. Especially for, if you see what was a year ago and we had so much, in other words, we're never gonna recoup those funds, but we are trying to recoup with, the food trucks. So, I would like to request to reconsider that, and then I'm not sure how the other business do, the clients, because they don't have the ADA bathroom. I would imagine they would do the same thing as they are gonna do with, with the food truck, I think, because it's across the street and, and I know Brent is in talks with the engineer for the Texas DOT, and he asked to do the plans, for I think additional concrete on the highway side, because I don't know, something needs to be done on that. I know you mentioned that's too close, but there is a lot of going on, especially on farmers market day on that corner, and
We're kind of deviating off of.
right,
actual
right,
action on it.
keep focus on it,
I mean, we're here to determine whether to provide them the $2,000 funding.
and I'll ask Brent to, I'm sorry he's not here today, but I'll remind him in finances that need to be submitted, yeah.
We need the financials, we need the restaurant. Give us a plan of action.
At this point, there's really nothing we can do. I mean, we've already made the requirement,
sign.
Did he send you the plans for the restroom? I thought you and him were working on.
They're talking about the 380 agreement that Brent signed, and in that 380 agreement, it says one of the requirements for reimbursement is ADA restrictions.
And that was signed before he sent the plans or after? You know, I'm
It
sorry.
was after the specific use permit.
After.
It couldn't even come together. Again, these are two separate things.
Yeah.
The specific use permit is on the city side. What they're saying is the condition of their funding was ADA requirement. So they would not have cared at that point what the city approved.
Okay.
Your specific question, I don't remember seeing plans for a restaurant.
No,
I thought he sent, yeah. So I need to request Brent to send you the plans for the restroom?
It's not gonna matter because what they're saying is if your restrooms are not ADA compliant, then you're not eligible for the second round of reimbursement.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
that's correct.
So,
Along
an-
with the financials.
yeah.
Yes.
Another thing that I'd like to share with you all is other business, clients for other business, they come to the Wagon Junction to use the bathroom, like, all the time. So it's not just Wagon Junction bathroom, other people are benefiting. And we see even,
We're not dealing with other business.
Right.
The agreement that we have
Mhm.
between EDC and you was that we would have ADA record and we would have quarterly financials. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was for a set period of time, wasn't it?
They think 2 years.
Yeah, something like that.
is that,
Neither of which options have been met. So in order for us to even discuss this, we
Mhm.
need to move forward. We need you guys to move forward on the two things that you're agreeing with.
I will remind Brent, I'm sorry, he's the one who handles that and initial plan that he was supposed to be here, but he had an accident on Sunday.
We can take a motion to
I'm-
deny
Thank you.
I
funding at this time.
I move that the WEDC not approve the reimbursement request for Wagon Junction in response to 6.1. My
Do we have a second?
recommendation is not approved.
I'll second.
Any more discussion?
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 6.1 is not approved. 6.2, action on request to modify the 380 agreement with Wagon Junction to remove ADA requirement and waive permit fees. That's two separate items rolled into one that they both put. Let's deal with the ADA requirement first. Personally, I feel there needs to be an ADA restroom. It's not right to send people over to people that need to use an ADA restroom. You have to do it.
ADA is the law.
It is the law. And so anytime, and I'm just a construction guy, but I'm not a ADA construction guy. Anytime, things can be grandfathered in, certainly. But once you start up in, as someone mentioned earlier, it all has to be brought up to ADA code. One thing, one thing I would advise is to perhaps come up with a plan to make ADA and we present it to us. But we also need the financials.
So the financials, I'm gonna ask Brent to submit. Certainly, he handles that and he will submit. Now, the restroom, they do have, one of them has a little ramp in the bar, but it's not as big as if I would buy IAD requirement, but does have the bar and a little ramp. You can check that and he can submit pictures. But I can tell you that it was adapted, in case somebody need, but it's
It's not really ADA.
no, so, no. So, because it was not bought that way, the second thing is, I know the ADA requirements are for buildings. Most of the places like Wagon Junction, they only have a porta potty, you know, and I would just,
The difference there is a
Mhm.
food truck and a food court. When you go to the food court,
But it's when it's a public accommodation,
Mhm.
that you have to be able to accommodate the needs of all community members, whether they're disabled or not.
Right, I don't disagree, you know, it's a small lot, and, you know, there is, we had, you know, to have engineer to take a look how we could accommodate, because there are lots of requirements that was put on that lot, and I think you all are witnesses of, you know, if you were, especially on the city council, you know how much, because initially there were 5 lots, and it was, you know, you have the requirement to have 20 feet here, 10 feet, that it almost don't have space. So for that, you know, it had to replan, how they call that Mackenzie required, that was, you know, make just change from 5 lots to 1. So we had, you know, even an engineer taking a look at that to see how we could design in a way to accommodate, you know.
I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah, I understand.
We made that agreement. We can't change the agreement.
Mhm.
But we're not gonna.
Yeah, I think we could, but we're not gonna do it.
And what I advise you to do is figure out, you know, see what it would work to get an ADA restaurant. Perhaps bring it back to us, and perhaps we'll talk about it. I mean, I can't promise anything.
But we need the financials too.
Right, we need the financials.
And nothing's gonna happen until we have the financials, because that was part of the agreement.
I mean, we made 2 agreements, neither of which, you know, there's 2 stipulations, neither of which have been acted on your side, not on our side.
Mhm.
Once those are rectified, then we'll move fast. Entertain, anybody want to make a motion on 6.2?
Thank you. I move that we do not modify the 380 agreement with Wagon Junction to remove the ADA requirement or waive from the.
Any other discussion? Have a first and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 6.2 is denied. Okay. That's a second.
I think that's our agenda.
So. All right. So seeing nothing further on the agenda,